Hey there, how are you today? My name's Dana Damara. You've landed on Astrocast. This is a special Astrocast report for this huge event of 2024 that everyone I know is talking about, either consciously or unconsciously, and that is Pluto moving into Aquarius on January 21st. So I've been getting so many calls and texts and DMs from people asking me, couple of things. One is they're asking me, what is going on? Like, what is going on? I feel like everything is shifting. I feel like things are being revealed. I feel not unrest, but I feel like there's a big change coming. Or um, they're telling me that they can feel something is shifting, but they can't quite put their finger on it. And I'm going to tell you what it is. It's the big shift of Pluto from Capricorn into Aquarius on January 21st, 2024. It's huge. And I'm going to talk a little bit about it, gaze at my notes every now and again, making sure I'm not missing anything because it really is important. It is the big event of the year. And there's a couple things I want to preface this by saying, first of all. So first of all, some astrologists still consider Pluto not a planet, right? Because it's so small and it's so far out there that there are some schools of thought about Pluto, but I'm going to tell you something about Pluto. This is my belief, my interpretation. This is my whole idea around Pluto. Pluto is, in relation to the universe, it's as big as your pinky finger, super small, right? But it's packed with so much power. And Pluto is about transformation and rebirth and death and, inner transformation and uncovering things that either we unconsciously or unconsciously haven't been paying attention to, or things that our soul has been like, hey, I really want you to pay attention, and we haven't been. And now Pluto moving into Aquarius is like, okay, you can't avoid it anymore. That's just the energy that we're dealing with. The second thing I want to say about Pluto moving into Aquarius is there's so much I want to say about Pluto moving into Aquarius. I want to go all the way back to 2020. In fact, to be specific, January 12th, 2020, when we had a stellium, and I want to make sure I get these planets right. I don't want to mess it up. January 12th, 2020, in the sign of Capricorn, we had Pluto, we had Saturn, we had Jupiter, Mercury, and the Sun all sitting together. Like if you looked up in the sky, which I remember I did that day, if you looked up in the sky through a telescope or with your little sky app, you could see all of those planets like together at the same degree. Now, we know scientifically they're not on top of one another, but in a linear fashion, for sake of thinking about this, they're all at the same degree of Capricorn. Now, that event hadn't happened like that in 500 years. 500 years. Okay, 1520. I think I did the math right. 1520. So before any of us were born, okay, Pluto, all those planets were all lined up. Okay, so that kick-started a big change. Astrologists called it the Great Awakening. Okay, I called it a Great Awakening. It was a big deal, as you know. We all know what happened in 2020. That's the second thing I want to say about Pluto moving into Aquarius. The next thing I want to say about Pluto moving into Aquarius is that, first of all, Pluto takes 248 years to go around the zodiac wheel. So none of us in this lifetime will see Pluto in more than, maybe if we're lucky, if we live to be 100, we'll see Pluto in 5 different signs, right? But definitely not 6. And there's 12 signs. So we will not see Pluto in the sign of Capricorn again in our lifetime. Okay, it's 284 years. So that means that Pluto moved into Aquarius in 1778. Okay, it was in Aquarius from 1778 to 1798. It was at 27 degrees Capricorn in 1776, July 3rd, 1776. So we are on the brink of huge change. Capricorn represents down hierarchy, like top-down structures. Capricorn actually represents all structure. Capricorn is earth. Capricorn is all about moving slowly, one thing at a time, right? And this is how we've been functioning since 2008. Okay, since 2008, when Capricorn first moved into, when Pluto first moved into the sign of Capricorn, that's what we've been working with. Now we have Pluto move into Aquarius, into the sign of technology. It's an air sign. Everything's moving faster. It's about the people. It's about humanity. It's about altruistic views. It's about seeing things as a whole. It's not a top-down structure. It's collaboration. It's looking at society as a whole, right? So we have this energy that is freaking powerful, changing. And when people say to me, I can feel it, I feel, and whatever they say, I'm telling you, it's because Pluto, that little teeny tiny planet, is moving into a new sign. Now, on January 21st, this is part of the big deal. On January 21st, Pluto will move out of Capricorn into Aquarius, but hours before the sun moves into the sign of Aquarius. So that means the sun and Pluto are like right next to each other. Now, what does that mean? That means everything is amplified and illuminated. Anything Pluto is amplified and illuminated as it moves into this new sign. So it's big changes, huge changes. Now, I will say this, in September of 2024, I don't have the date off the top of my head, but in September of 2024, Pluto will dip out and then dip back in November, and then we'll never come back into the sign of Capricorn in our lifetime. So we will be, all you have to do is look out into the world and see, like, we have AI and we have all of this. My gosh, just technology. I was just talking to someone today and I said, I remember when people started texting each other and I was so resistant. I said, no, I'm not texting anyone. I'm never texting. No, not going to do it. And I did. And the same thing with Instagram and social media. I was very resistant. Like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. It's moving too fast. I don't want to do it. It just didn't feel right to me. But this is where our universe, our existence is going. So we get to decide how we want to use that energy. And what I've been telling people in classes is, as we move quicker, because the universe will start to move faster with this energy. We've seen it. We know this to be true. One of the most important things we can do for ourselves is get really grounded in who we are and get so self-assured that we can't really get knocked down. We know who we are. None of this willy-nilly. And the beautiful thing with part of this is that this energy will help us get clearer if we're paying attention to our intuition about what's really resonant for us. Like, who's really in our field that we want there? Who are we not resonating with? And then we have that choice of, like, do I want to stay here or do I want to do something different? And my invitation is to do something different, because Uranus also, and I'll talk about this in the weekly forecast, but right after this happens, Uranus is going to go direct as well. And Uranus makes huge changes too. Uranus is like liberation and freedom and power. And so Uranus this year too is a big power play. So in essence, right, we are creating a new age. We are creating a new age. Pluto won't leave Aquarius till 2044. 2044. Oh my gosh. So if we just think about that for a moment. We're entering into a new paradigm. We're entering into a new era. We're entering into a new way of doing things. And Pluto is about empowerment. Pluto wants us to be empowered in our own life. Pluto wants us to do things that are in alignment with our soul. Pluto is this small itty bitty planet, but it has so much um, love and empowerment for us. So don't let this go by. Now, one thing I want to say is this energy started to pick up around the new moon in Capricorn. We had a 111 numbers code. And that new moon was at 20 degrees. Now, was 3 of 5 consecutive new moons at 20 degrees. 20 is the sign of, new age. It's the sign of union. It's the number of relationships. It is a powerful number. This is a huge wake-up call for our humanity. Again, power words or words that are associated with Pluto are power, empowerment, transformation, upheaval, surrender, death, rebirth, right? So my invitation to you with this energy, there's so much I want to share, and I just could talk for days, but this is about aligning your personal power with soul, with spirit, with source, not with the to-dos or the shoulds or the ancestry, or it's about purging the energy that is not yours, that is your ancestors, that you have been carrying, that you have been feeling obligated to take care of, that you have been, kind of holding as your own. This is about moving into a way of being that is in alignment with the bigger picture of your life. And the bigger picture of your life is not about your past. It's not about what you've done. It's not about your title. It's not about how you fit in society. It's about your alignment with your purpose and your passion. And are you, you know, aligning yourself with this resonance of the other, which really, again, this is probably a whole other podcast, but the other isn't really a real thing either. It's really just calling into your awareness, your highest source, and then attracting those individuals to you that either you are supporting for a higher good, or that they are supporting you for a higher good. So this is about looking at your life and asking yourself, what are my altruistic goals in this life? How can I serve today? How can I serve? I was reading a book, can't remember the title. Anyways, this quote or this phrase will encompass what I'm trying to say. We don't want to say to ourselves, well, I deserve that raise. I deserve that position. I deserve that home. I deserve that job. I deserve that relationship. This isn't about deserving. This is about our responsibility to contribute at our highest possible resonance. To contribute at our highest possible resonance. It's our responsibility. This has nothing to do with getting what we deserve. This has to do with looking at ourselves and saying, how can I contribute at my highest level of being? And in that contribution of my highest level of being, I will then call to me, surrender, attract, magnetize, whatever you want to say, all the resources that I need in order to make that happen. And it will become extremely apparent. And in that, what happens is, guess what? Things fall away. People fall away. Relationships end. Like, this is just how it happens. This energy will break down infrastructures, societies, ways of being, power at the top. Forget about power at the top. It's going to be done pretty soon. I don't know when. I don't know if it's going to be in our lifetime, but it will no longer be a thing. It's going to be power to the people. And that's, when I think of that, I think of the next generation. I think of people like my kids, like power to the people, power to the people. this next generation, these couple of next generations coming in, really have the gene keys and the human design and the astrology to actually usher in this new way of being. We don't. We have the knowledge, we have like the wisdom. We're like, oh my gosh, I can feel it. And we can give what we can give, but we're still straggling from the Capricorn energy. Some of these new energies that are coming in are all about light. They're all about supporting one another. They're all about altruistic views. They're not about war. They're not about any of this other. So things are going to change, and it's going to be interesting. And I think it's going to be normal. I think it's going to be beautiful. I think it's going to be a little challenging for those individuals who want to hold on to things as the way they used to be. So my homework for the weekend is to get on a little chat GPT and see what I can do. Oh, there's so much more. Please feel free to reach out to me if you want me to read your chart. I would be happy to. It's an amazing time to be alive. And I think one of the most powerful things you can ask yourself is, how can I contribute today? How can I realign myself to be of my highest service? Reach out to me if you want your chart read, dana@danadamara.com, or go ahead and go onto my website. You'll find it pretty easily on there. I am just so grateful that you pay attention to this. Please share with your friends if you find it helpful and supportive. And in the meantime, have such a beautiful rest of your day. Namaste.